Please read verse number 34, please. Aprayatnat prayatnadva mudo napnoti nirvritim tatvanishchayamatrena prajño bhavati nirvritah Suddham buddham priyam purnam Nishprapmancham niramayam Atmanam tam na jananti Tatra vyasa parajanaha Suddham buddham priyam purnam Nishprapancham niramayam Atmanam tam na jananti Tatra vyasa parajanaha. This verse today we are going to share is something like any one of those verses, one of a kind. Something, when you really grasp it, you have to be tongue-tied, mentally paralyzed. Your words have to stop, thinking, suspended. Literally, you can't breathe. But you shall continue to live and be aware, don't worry. To be yourself, to be who you are, you cannot afford to do anything whatsoever. No action of any kind, be it physical, emotional, intellectual, any type of activity, be it a speech, be it a movement at the level of the limbs, at the level of the thought, no action is needed to be who you are. And no action also can take away, dismiss, negate, deny who you are. Your being who you are is completely independent of action, inaction, thought, no thought, speech, no speech. Your being who you are is completely independent even of living and dying. Because the body is alive, therefore you are not. Or just because the body is going to be disintegrated, therefore you don't cease to exist. Who you are is independent of every type of activity in life. In fact, you cannot do something to be yourself. nor because you do something, your self is negated or denied at any time. It is absolute freedom at its absolute level. Nobody can define it, touch it, destroy it, create it. It defies every human or divine action or intervention. It's existing because it's existing. There is no other reason for it. That is why you will see the beauty of this verse. Yesterday what we saw, aprayatnat prayatnadva mudho napnoti nivruti. Mudha, the ignorant person, prayatnadva aprayatnadva, the person full of desires, aspirations, enthusiasm and fully active. Because of that he is not going to get this knowledge. Or because aprayatnat, he is fed up of activities, doesn't want to act anyway. Seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling, thinking, any physical activity, pashyan, shunvan, spushan, jigran, asnan, seeing, hearing, tasting, all these things, swapan, sleeping, dreaming, swasan, breathing, unmishan, numishan api, winking, closing and opening his eyelids, grunhan, by receiving things or giving things, whatever may be the activity, you can imagine. None of these things, just because none of these activities is going to give you yourself who you are, or aprayatnat, or you are fed up of all activities, therefore you suspend every activity because it has not given me anything. So enough of seeing, enough of touching, enough of tasting, enough of this world, enough of my activities, you sit down simply, then also you are not going to gain it. Your activities will not give you a sense of wisdom, fulfillment in yourself, nor your inactivity by itself will give you a sense of fulfillment, freedom or wisdom. That is why tasya nischaya matrena prajna bhavati nirvruta. Tasya nischaya matrena prajna, the one who is listening to this reality, we'll see that more details little later on, trying to understand or not trying to understand, who has engaged himself in understanding his nature. Just simple word, understanding the meaning of the word I. What is the meaning of this word I? And listen carefully. The meaning of the words doesn't exist because of the word. Understand that point. The meaning of the word, the Nagalingam, the flower, this flower doesn't exist because I say the word Nagalingam. This is already there. So to understand yourself, the meaning of the word I does not mean you are creating the meaning for that word. It is already existing. But you are ignorant. You don't know anything about yourself. To understand the importance of this self-knowledge is, I must understand myself. Listen carefully. The focus, I must understand myself, and I am not here to engage myself in any activity, either to indulge in activity or to renounce any activity. To pick up a thought or to deny a thought, those are to be done by me. Listen carefully, it is so important. First, I must be there for me to act. For me to say I do, first I am, then only I do, right? You understand that point? To say I do, I speak, I renounce, I indulge, first I must be there. What you do comes later on. And your doing, listen carefully, your doing has nothing, Mahadeva, you must, I don't know how to speak. It becomes absolutely impossible. If you feel this, if you see this, you have seen it. I don't have to say, listen carefully. If I say I see, it's not that I am seeing. The eyes see, and therefore I say I see. For the eyes to see, Arjun, oh Mahadeva, this is so beautiful. Arjun, for the eyes to see, they don't need the word I. For me to be, seeing is not needed. Do you understand this? Like conundrum. It's like a puzzle. It's like a joke. Either it strikes you or mudho yati. Muda gets further deluded. He is sitting on enjoying the joke and then goes back to the next. What is the next statement? No. If you listen to this statement, you have finished once for all. It's not necessary to say I to see. It's not necessary to say I to do. For physically, for you to walk, lift, move, swim, you don't need the word I. Because the actions are done at the level of the body. Perceptions are taking place at the level of your senses. They do not need one adage, I. You don't have to say, I see to see. Seeing takes place. In the same way, to be the self, you don't need to see. To be who you are, what should you see? Physically. What should you do? Physically. What should you do? Mentally. What should you touch, taste, smell? Or what is that touching which, tasting which, smelling which, doing which, thinking about which? You can be negated. You cannot be. Just because you don't say I, suddenly the eyes don't droop. No more seeing, the eye is gone. Just because you say, just because you don't say I before you say I hear, therefore hearing doesn't collapse. Neither if the seeing, hearing, touching, tasting doesn't take place, that does not mean the eye is going to be destroyed. Your sense of being is independent of every thought, every perception, every activity. Long before we come to this understanding of ourselves, our lives have been fully engaged. We have been directed towards, conditioned to act in a million different ways, to pick up a helpless role for ourselves. Our roles have become more exotic. Our roles give us identity. Our roles make us who we are in the eyes of the others or in your own eyes, completely forgetting that the roles do not give me an identity. I am the one gives role some sanctity, some importance, some significance, some relevance. The roles have no relevance unless I am there. A post doesn't govern the country. I, as the king, shall rule the country. I, as the prime minister, shall rule the country. The prime minister's role cannot do anything. The physical body by itself cannot do anything. The eyes by itself can see. In what direction? Listen carefully. The thoughts also are there. By itself means nothing if there is not somebody to use it. But for you to be, nothing is needed. This is so effortless. That is why pragya tattva nischaya matrena. Just by determining or seeing the truth as it is, tattva, the reality as it is, bhavati nirvrutaha, is totally satisfied, contented, withdrawn as though from everything, or even with everything is not involved with anything. That is your knowledge, that is your self as to who you are. The next verse will say it so nicely. Today, please friends, observe every word you listen and be. Shuddha, Buddha, Priyam, Purnam, Nisprapancha, Niramayam, Atmanam, Tam Najananti, Tam Atmanam Najananti. Who? Tatra abhyasa parajanaha. This is underline, you underline that last line, the last quarter. Tatra abhyasa parajanaha. Those people who are abhyasa paraha, hold on to million practices of different kind, abhyasa para. What are those things? We shall see. I cannot give you the exhaustive list of it because millions of people, millions of practices. You have to see for yourself. The people tatra abhyasa para janaha, those people who are busy practicing so many different things, engaged in various activities in the name of practices, trying to grasp the reality, na jananti, they shall never ever know the truth of themselves. Because now they are busy engaging themselves in activity, not knowing who they are. Listen carefully, how it completely takes you away from the goal. It is like, remember that celebrated example, the 10th man searching for the 10th man. The owner of the malas trying to become the owner of the mala. It is already in your hand, the key is already in your hand, and you are trying to find out where the key is. And therefore, you are already the owner of the key, but you want to become the owner of the key. Listen carefully. You are the owner of the key because it is already in your hand. You are already the owner of the mala because it is already on your neck. You are already the 10th man. Remember the story, okay? The disciples crossing the river, 10 people jumped. They went to the other side and the leader wants to be very sure that all the 10 people have crossed the river. So makes them stand and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, you 9 people? Where is the 10th? Another person comes out. This man goes, joins the line, again count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. Each person comes out, counts it. Every time it is 9. They don't know. One person is missing, but they don't know who is missing. Because every one of them is 10th man or no. Whoever counts, that person becomes the 10th man. Now, suppose the moment they start searching for the 10th man, what will happen? They deny that they are the 10th man, right? The moment they start searching for the 10th man, in your very attempt to look for the 10th man, forget engaging, Mahadeva, it is so simple and so subtle. Forget engaging yourself in a physical activity for the search. Even the determination, the thinking that I must search and find the 10th man itself takes you away. Your resolve to find the 10th man denies that you are the 10th man. Are you getting that point, please? Are you getting that? Very, very important. Your resolve to find the 10th man denies that you are the 10th person. Your resolve to be the owner of the mala denies that you are already the owner of the mala. So by your holy resolve, spiritual resolve, name it whatever you like, however exotic, exalted name you can give it to the pursuit, the fact is, it is ignorance. So searching for it, you shall never get the 10th man. Because the moment you start searching, and what type of activity you shall do, okay, let me go around the mountain, Himalayas, you will not find it. Circumambulate the whole river, you shall not find it. Dig a hole and meditate, you will not find it. Stand on your head, you will not find it. Sing the song, chant the song, do anything you like, you will not find it. Oh, these are all religious activities, nutcases. Let me run and jump and be the secular activity, you will not get it. Tired of all those activities, you say, okay, none of these searches will ever do, simply sit down, you will not get it. If you look for it, you deny you are it. If you don't look for it, you don't get it either. You understand the conundrum? Now don't sit down there and enjoy the story that is happening in you. No speeches required. You look for yourself inside, listen. To be, you don't have to say I. There is no physical activity. There is nobody around you. The whole universe is silently moving, changing. Sitting down inside, you are resolving. I must really know myself. I have to talk because you can't listen to my thought. Even that resolve, I must know myself. It's very confusing. Therefore, I must do something. So, where is the confusion? Where is the confusion? In your mind. Where do you want to find the solution? Physical activity? What type of thinking is that? Your confusion about yourself. Understand? It's like you have made a wrong calculation. 5 fours are 9. Instead of 5 fours are 20, somehow one thought has come, 5 fours are 9. Now, whatever you want to do outside, you can go on doing it. Will that go away? You have a misunderstanding with a person. You have a misunderstanding with a person. Somehow the person doesn't believe you or hates you. Whatever. You have some misunderstanding. Now go on swimming, go on jumping, go on flying, go on take a ride, sit down somewhere. Think of it. The 10th man, if he is searching for himself, he denies he is the 10th man. So, and for the search, however little, next step, you are denying. Somebody is going around the world, he is as confused as the person who is searching around the hutment. Yes, in the process, the person who is going around the world, sometimes will forget the search and enjoy the trip. Forget the search and enjoy the trip. The person is here, maybe always remembering himself because he can't escape. Same thing. Searching for yourself, when you abhyasa parajanaha, when you are engaging yourself various practices, you shall lose yourself for some time in that practice. Chanting is so nice. Holding somebody's hand and sitting by somebody's side is so nice. Dancing is so nice. Doing some ritual is so nice. Climbing the mountain is so nice. Going around the hill is so nice. Celebrating festivity is so nice. Fasting is so nice. Feasting is so nice. You can lose yourself. Listen carefully. At the end of it, you have definitely experienced a lot of varieties of experiences in life. Physical, emotional. But you will not know yourself. In one way, you can see it is a language of disaster. The story goes. It may be true, may not be true. I could make it a story like anything here else, but it will, like, you tell a story, but you put Einstein's name, now everybody listens to it. You put a famous person's name, they listen to it. So put the Buddha's name. Angulimala was a highway bandit. So he once comes and attacks Buddha. He wants to cut off his head, cut off his fingers and whatnot. The story goes. He is a ruffian. The story goes, Buddha says, okay, cut this branch. So he has a hatchet. In one sweep, the branch falls. Then the man says, so what next? All right. Buddha says, put it back on the tree. Then this fellow laughs uproariously, and because he doesn't care for what his Buddha thinks or says. He says, who do you think can do this? Cut the branch. Can you do it? Nobody can do it. He said, yes, nobody can do it. But everybody can destroy it. It's a children's game. The child engages himself in like a child, childish mind, enjoys destroying. Only a wise person, matured person, enjoys creating. Destroying anything is very easy. Think, destroying anything, it takes years to bring a tree up. You put the seed, keep it going, 2-3 months, sapling comes, 2 leaves, put it up, put a fence, oh God, it takes years for these trees to, how many years? You have seen this ashram? 1985, 30 years now. What was there? Pure sand, sea sand. Now if you look at it, pure forest. How long it took? 30 long years. A devastating storm is raging. How long will it take? Finish. A human being who is crazy, how long will it take to cut it down? You can bring back to that desert-like atmosphere in 1 hour time. Just cut down the whole thing with a powerful saw, cut down the whole thing. To build a business, to build a relationship, to build something, it takes the longest time. The most surprising thing is, there are some people who applaud the destroyer. Think. Do you understand? It's so easy to destroy billions of things, anything in the world. One atom bomb, the whole country can be destroyed. I have a point to make. Can you believe? Unintentionally, with the idea of enriching the lives of people, call it secular education, call it religion, they unconsciously, unintentionally destroying every one of the person. Not in a bad sense of the term, I am not being virulent, I am not being, please understand carefully. There is no focus in introducing the person to himself. Not many traditions, spiritual, religious traditions are aware of it, that the person must be introduced to himself. Many secular traditions are not aware of the fact that the person must be introduced to himself. So what they do? With the secular learning, they provide them secular roles. That is why that education, many times I have defined, given you that explanation. What is that? The sociology defines education like this, which rescues the individual from mass of collectivity and gives him a definite identity. When you are uneducated, you are one among the billions of people. When you get educated, you are rescued as though from mass of collectivity, anonymity. There are millions and billions of unknown people. You are one among the mass. But the moment you are educated, I am PhD, a person. Postgraduate, a person. Engineer, a person. You get a special identity, individuality. That's not enough. Suppose some people don't have that type of secular things to be proud about, secular identity to be proud of, they pick up a religious identity. This is a billion people club, because billion people follow this faith. So that is why people get attracted to that faith which has got greater following, so that they can lose themselves. It's a very, 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 very subtle idea. Like in deep sleep, you lose yourself, you love it. In love, you lose yourself, therefore you love it. Why do people try to fall in love? Because if falling in love, at that moment, you don't exist, only the other person exists. That gives you a different type of high. So when you are part of a billion people club, you don't exist. Now your identity is a group identity, a collective identity. That is why collectively they shall defend that identity. Call it a religion, call it a country, call it anything. Are you getting that point, please? It's a very, 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 very deluding, it's a very deluding proposition. Such people cannot stand by themselves. So with all their good purpose, they give us an identity. Listen carefully. And when you lose yourself in that. One day if I become millionaire or I become a job holder or something like that, everything shall be all right. Nothing becomes all right. You are not the first one to be a graduate, first one to be a postgraduate, first one to be a director, managing director, or billionaire, or millionaire, trillionaire. It doesn't matter. Tired of those achievements, then you come to, this did not solve the job, did not solve the problem. So what do? You come away. So what do? You go to some religious group. And what do they do there? They give you another practice. Very exclusive. Meaning, they are giving one exclusive identity. Previously, if you are finding comfort in losing your identity in the mass, now you are getting an exclusive identity that you are a yogi, you are a bhakta, you are a karma yogi, you are a jnani, you are a worshipper, you are a ritualist, you are doing this puja, doing that. Oh. You don't come to the teaching to pick up a new identity. You come here to be yourself. It is so easy, just like it is so easy to cut down a branch, destroy a tree. It is so easy to initiate a person to a practice. It's like a child's play. Are you getting that? Because everybody is interested in doing something extraordinary, doing something unique, doing something exclusive. So many people, it is so easy to mislead the person with good intention. The person doesn't know. Because if the person is really aware of himself, he shall be interested in helping him to be who he is. Now you don't stand there and argue for another ignorant person. But Swamiji, don't you think people need some other identity to remove that false identity? Why are you pleading for somebody? First you understand for yourself. But this is something so misleading, you cannot believe. When you come to the teaching, you don't come here to learn for somebody. Listen carefully. First you learn for yourself. When it is revealed to you as to who you are you able to take it? No, I am not unable to take it. I am not able to take it. I am unable to take it. I am not able to take it. This thought is there. All right, for you, something must be done. But that also is so fragile. You just wait, I'll tell you everything very, very clearly. Because the focus is on yourself. You are ignorant about yourself. Each person. Not that one person is ignorant, every person. It is self-ignorance is universal. In fact, ignorance is universal. But the beauty is, listen carefully, the beauty is, how to tell? The beauty is, are you ignorant? Yes, I am ignorant. How do you know? I know. What do you know? I am ignorant. So you know that you are ignorant, right? So are you knowledge or ignorance? Understanding self-knowledge is instantaneous. But just because, are you ignorant of Alaska? Yes. Because you are ignorant of Alaska, so you suddenly get the knowledge of Alaska. In a relative knowledge, it will not work like that. But in absolute knowledge, are you getting that? In the knowledge of yourself, are you ignorant about yourself? What is that self? It's not a role. That is why you don't know a person, but you know him, his root, his source. When you know about yourself who you are, you know about everybody as to who they are. But what they have is not automatically known. Are you getting that point, please? What they have is not automatically known. This is something instantaneous. You know for yourself. Please see how it is. For any ignorance to go, it is so beautiful. Please see, for any ignorance to go, knowledge must take place, right? Suppose you are ignorant of physics. Let's simple thing. You are ignorant of physics. You don't know mathematics. You don't know physics. You don't know chemistry. Now, in order to remove that ignorance, shall you go and play football? What is the physical activity you must do to remove the ignorance of the physics? What is the physical activity? Play football every day? Swim? Climb the mountain? Physical activity is meant for keeping the physical body fit. Physical body, physical activity is not going to give you the knowledge inside. Then every athlete, every cricket fellow, every hockey player, every Olympian shall be PhDs and double PhD, triple PhDs. Why they have got Olympic gold medalist means what? Oh my God. Among 7 billion people, the fastest man in the world. The weightlifter, Olympic medal means what? Among the 7 billion people, there are 100 to 200 top fellows who are the gold medalist. So what is their intellectual level? Triple gold medalist, 4 gold medalists, 5 gold medalists, 7, 8 gold medalists. There are people like that. But what is their intellectual level? It's not that the person is a top gold medalist in swimming or weightlifting and all these things, engage him as the director of the the Harvard University. He is the chancellor. Why are you not putting it? Nor because he is a chancellor, PhD, intellectually highly developed, therefore he must win the gold in the Olympics. No, it doesn't work. Your physical activity will not make you know about physics, chemistry, mathematics. Any ignorance will not go. Listen carefully. Any ignorance will not go. If you are ignorant about something, you have to use a means of knowledge, right? Now suppose you don't know this flower. You have, suppose, Nagalingam, do you know Nagalingam? I don't know. So I said you must know the flower. So you must know the flower. Suppose you listen to it. Nagalingam is a pink flower. There is something on the top which is like a serpent. There is a linga inside and very nice fragrant, tall trees. These are all information or knowledge? Pure informations. Listen, this is very, very simple thing, friends. Just watch out, relax and enjoy it. Simple informations. Do not ever consider information as knowledge. This statement you yourself might have repeated 100 times. You must have listened to me also hundreds of times. Have you felt it? That true information is not knowledge. You are familiar with the thought. You are familiar with the names. You are familiar with the descriptions. Object you have not seen. Right or wrong? Listen. To convert that information to knowledge, what should you do? You must see the object. You must have that. If you want to get the knowledge of the object, you must go to the object. Listen carefully. Just please play the game. Right away. By chance, any one of you know what is on this table, don't smile as a superior person, or don't be in a hurry to speak it out. I want you to feel. If there is one person who is genuinely ignorant about this thing, please, what is this? I brought it today. Don't answer. Just raise your hand, how many of you don't know it? Nice, thank you. So this thing, those of you who don't know, listen carefully. You can feel it very clearly. You don't know it, right? You don't know it. Very good. Are you experiencing it or no? See that very important point. Are you experiencing it or no? You are experiencing it. You are experiencing it. But you don't know it. Okay? There is another person. Okay, now I'll tell you one thing. So you are experiencing it, you don't know it. Now you must know it. This is an egg of the ostrich. It is an ostrich egg. Did you hear about it before or no? Have you heard of ostrich egg? Did you hear about ostrich egg before? You heard? So what did you have? Information or knowledge? Only information. You didn't have the knowledge. But if somebody says, do you know ostrich egg? Yes. What yes? You are familiar with a name. You are just familiar with a name. Now, if I have to introduce you to the ostrich egg, now I have brought it here. You are already experiencing it, but still you don't know this is ostrich egg here. You can go back totally ignorant, even though you experienced it, right or wrong? Even though you experienced it, still you shall go back ignorant. Why? You experienced it, but still you don't know it. So, tell me, there is no such first and second. Which comes first in your life? The information comes first or the experience comes first? Depends. Sometimes information comes first. Suppose you have never studied geography, Australia, emu, ostrich, you have never heard of that. Even that information also is not there. So one day you came around here and you saw so many things here, you are experiencing everything, the whole thing you are experiencing. Listen carefully, the whole thing you are experiencing. But still, you are going back ignorant of many things. Have you seen in this ashram, Karamanga? Karamanga, have you seen? Atha? Just look at it, look at it. It's very strange. Today you must see this, the simplicity of it. You will see now. Do you see, have you seen Karamanga? Atha? Star fruit? Do you know star fruit? Have you seen star fruit trees in our ashram? If I make you walk, you are seeing everything in this place. You are experiencing everything. That also part of your total experience of the garden. But specific tree you don't know. Why? You have experienced it. But somebody has to name it. And this name is so confusing because you know star fruit, but if somebody says Karamanga, you don't know. Why? Somebody has introduced you to that tree in that name, star fruit. But another language is Karamanga, you don't know. So even though you know it, just because another name is put, you say you don't know. You see are you seeing the shades of ignorance, how it is? You know it, but still you shall say you don't know it because another name is given to it. It's a simple thing. Suppose everybody knows him as a Ramakrishnan, but somebody calls him Ramki. So they asked you, do you know Ramki? Ramki, I don't know. What you don't know? He comes to Swamiji's class. There is no Ramki. The man with Ramakrishnan. Oh, Ramakrishnan. No, what is the over Ramakrishnan? Just because the name has changed, you think he doesn't, you don't know him. Right? Listen carefully. So, information can come if you are reading books, listening to people, informations come, but not necessarily the knowledge. In a relative world, go from there. So, having got information, I said we shall experience. I will give you the knowledge. So what do? I take you to the garden. I bring you to the hall. I have already talked to you about ostrich egg, but you don't know about it. So to introduce you, I brought it from the beginning of the class. It is here. Now everybody is experiencing it. And having looked at it, something strange on the table for the first time, what is this? Why Swami just brought this? He never brings anything. What is this one? You don't know, but you are experiencing it. You have heard the name ostrich egg. The object ostrich egg is right here, but you have no capacity to associate that name with the object. Okay? And to introduce you to this, I have brought it already. Now the stage. So to introduce it to you, listen carefully, this is a very, very subtle statement. To introduce this to you, is it not true that you must experience it first? Even before I introduce, you are already experiencing it. Even before I introduce, you are already experiencing it. Unless you experience it, experience means what? Seeing. Unless you are seeing it, can I introduce you? Unless I present a person in front of you, can I introduce him to you? Are you getting that? Unless I present a person in front of you, can I introduce to you? To introduce you to a flower, that flower must be there. To introduce you to the ostrich egg, I must get the ostrich egg. I brought it from Australia. To introduce this flower, I must get it from the garden, from a tree, Nagalingam tree. To introduce you. And once it is there also in your presence, still, I have brought it. You are experiencing it. Still, you don't know it. Right? Is it some high philosophy? Simple thing. You are still, I have brought it, is in front of you, you are experiencing it. Still, you don't know it. What am I to do? Just tell you, hey, this is ostrich egg. Oh, what is that? Oh, I had heard the name, never seen the object. I am looking at it for half an hour now. Oh, this is the one. What happened now? By this knowledge, what happened to you? What happened to anybody? Did ostrich egg suddenly become bigger, bigger, bigger because everybody knows it? Or something added to you? Yes, an information and knowledge added to you. This is the, now you are successful in associating the object with the name. Okay? Listen carefully. The second stage. So even though you know it, still you may be disappointed. Why? Because it is not your possession. It is still my possession. This is such a rare thing, painted also. So nice ostrich egg. I want it. Now the problem is, I am making you miserable. Why? Because just chances are, this is egg. Now suppose you suddenly say, I want it. Now if I want it, one egg, how many people I can give? 5 flowers. How many? Suppose there are 5,000 people in the audience, 500 people in the audience. 5 flowers. How many people I can give it? I will disappoint 495. 5 people only will get it. Are you getting that point, please? Okay? So this is objective knowledge. In objective knowledge also, you need object, your senses, sense organ and your mind. 3 things must be there for the knowledge to take place. Object must be there, Eyes must be there to see it, appropriate, okay? I have told you already so many times, appropriate knowledge. You want to get this knowledge of the object, object must be there, your eyes are there, your mind must be ready. That's not enough, because your mind is ready, your eyes can see, the object is there, but still you don't know. Why? Shabda. The words of the teacher essential. In objective knowledge, in subjective, both paravidya, aparavidya, understand, both in paravidya as well as aparavidya, in both the places, words are needed to introduce you. Are you getting that? Because you may be seeing it, object is there, eyes are seeing it, thoughts are there, but still you don't know. Experiencing it, but still you don't know. Somebody points it out to you. Okay? Now come, listen carefully. You have been listening about Brahman, Atman, all-pervasive, fullness, consciousness, Chetana, Sakshi, witness, Shuddham, Buddham, Priyam, Purnam, Nisprapancham, pure, absolute. So wonderful. And by knowing which everything is as well known, by knowing is the person is happy with himself, nothing else is needed. Sabda Jnana, Sabda Jnana, Sabda Jnana. Information, information, information. Just like two people are fighting over the information, one says the Ganges is coming down from Gomukh, Gangotri is coming down. First it is Devprayag, then only Rudraprayag. Other person says, no, first is Rudraprayag, then only Devprayag. Both have not gone. Both have not gone. But there is a heavy argument. Or Rudraprayag somewhere, Devprayag somewhere, some fun, Yamunotri, somewhere, Gangotri. Nobody has gone there, but they are fighting over the placement and fighting over everything there. Shastra Alochana, arguments over scriptural declarations. Brahman is this, Brahman is that, liberation is this, liberation that, huge description. Forget it. The scripture is not interested in revealing you the Brahman or the Absolute. It introduces you to yourself. From yourself you can go to Atma, Brahma, Chetana, Ishvara, anything you like. The person not knowing about himself engages himself in discourse on Brahman. Are you getting that point? The person is not aware of himself, but engaging himself in discourses over Atman, Chetana, consciousness, all-pervasiveness. That is the argument, no? How can you say he is immortal? Yeah, I see everything immortality. That is because the person is not introduced to himself. He is introduced to informations. That is why there will be a lot of fire, lot of heat, no light. In those type of discussions, there will be a lot of fire, lot of heat, no light. Will you like to engage yourself in such type of discussions and activity? Ask yourself, you want to waste your time and life? You can do that. In self-knowledge, that's not encouraged. First, you must be aware of yourself. They must give you the knowledge of yourself. Listen carefully. So when you pick up all the informations, listen carefully, you pick up all the informations. Now, Lucky, now you have to be introduced. Listen carefully. It's so beautiful. Make it a story. You have to be introduced. Now, if it is, suppose I am the teacher to introduce you to yourself, what should I do? If I am the one teacher who is teaching you about the flower, I have to collect the sample. I can't ask you to collect the sample because you don't know the name. How can you collect the sample? I have to collect the sample. If I have to teach you about the ostrich egg, I have to get the ostrich egg and let you know this is the ostrich egg. Now the biggest problem is over in self-knowledge. If I have to introduce you to the self, the Brahman, the consciousness, the Atman, I don't have to collect it anywhere from outside, it is already with you. You are already that. Are you getting that point, please? You are already that. Do you agree or disagree? Are you here? Listen carefully. It's so beautiful. You are already there, who you are. Sitting down with something here, what you have. You are sitting down here with a body that you have. You are sitting down here with the sense organs that you have, that you are looking at me and smiling. Suppose your eyes are closed, God forbid, you cannot see anymore. It's like in a deaf and dumb institution, a visitor had gone there. And they said there is some fighting going on in that place. They can't speak, they can't hear, but there is a big fighting because there's sign language, the sign language is there. So, what is happening there is when they go there, they see one fellow is looking towards the wall and laughing away. The other person is standing behind him, jumping, just like that, restless. So the director goes there and asks him in the sign language to the person who is looking at the wall and laughing loud. He said, "What is the joke?" In the sign language he asked, "What is the joke?" So in sign language he said, "This person wants to tell me something I don't want to see." This person wants to show him the sign language. He doesn't want to see, so he's looking that way. Only if he sees, for us you can hear, no, even if you look that way you can hear. But the fellow, in a person in a deaf and dumb, unless he sees the sign, he is not going to understand, he can't hear. So he is looking at it, he says, "Let him get angry, but I am not going to listen to what he says." True. Now you can't do that. You are sitting down here, looking at me. You have a body, you have your thoughts, you have your eyes looking at me. So you are here. Your thoughts are there, you are conscious. Listen. So I don't have to bring the sample from you. Next step. Long before I introduce you, I have brought it already here. And even after half an hour into the class, for half an hour you have been experiencing it, but still you don't know it. And until I bring it here and you experience it, I cannot convert it to knowledge. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? I have to bring it here. No, I have only the picture of it here. The picture also will be another thought only. That is why, if you pick up information about Brahman, Atman, liberation, you are picking up word picture, which is useless. If I can show you the picture of the flower, show the picture of the flower, but you will not have to enjoy the fragrance of it. You can have the word picture of Brahman, Atman, all pervasive, all logic, all extensions. In life there is no fragrance. Angry, short-tempered, jealous, inferiority complex, superiority complex, arrogance, everything will be there in full measure. If the person has not enjoyed being the infinite and absolute, that the words mean nothing, thoughts mean nothing, their absence, presence, none of these things matter to me anymore. You don't defend anything, yet you are not defenseless. That you don't defend anything comes from the absolute strength. Why? Nothing touches me. Think. So as when you are experiencing for half an hour, then only I can give you the knowledge. Now if I am interested in giving you the knowledge of yourself, tell me. First you must experience it. When the experience of the object has a beginning, experience that is the self is beginningless. Do you understand the statement? When the experience of the object has a beginning, not experience of the self, mark the language, is not experience of the self. If experience of the object has a beginning, experience Not experience of the self, but experience that is the self, consciousness, beginningless, always there. You are continuously experiencing yourself, meaning Anubhava Swarupa, consciousness, you are always. Not only in being yourself, even while seeing, you are a part of it. Are you getting that point? When you are seeing this flower, seeing means what? Being conscious at the level of your eyes. Are you getting that? Being conscious, listen, being conscious without any sense organs is being conscious. But being conscious at the level of your ears, sound. Eyes, form. That's why if you close your eyes, you are still conscious. But not of the form, but the sound. If you close your ears, you are still conscious, but can't hear anything. So you are experiencing the experience of seeing. Oof, how do I talk? You are experiencing the experience of hearing, touching, tasting, smelling, thinking. But when seeing stops, hearing stops, thinking stops, you still continue to experience who you are. Sense organs are not needed. 5 sense organs are not needed. And a thought cannot block the consciousness. Are you getting that point, please? An object doesn't block the space. A thought does not block the consciousness. You are always conscious. Thought or no thought. Though always experiencing it, still you don't know. That is why Shabda Praman, the words of the teacher who knows it. Because the person who doesn't know, he shall make it a futuristic activity. You shall know when the thoughts are suspended. In the white heat and the red heat of meditation, so you have to create a heat inside you. When everything is silenced, consciousness surfaces. It's a submarine. Okay? And if it surfaces, it gets drowned again also. Right? These type of nonsense, these are the practice orientation. Practice orientation means what? If you can do this, remove this thought, engage the thought, do this mantra for 10 million times, or 4 years or 10 years, sit down on this posture, hold your tongue and put it on the top so you can experience the flow of Amrit, the nectar. All that, between the eyes, blue light will sparkle and will go and blind everybody. There are 2 Sufi saints. Each one is very capable. So one was sitting down on a carpet, the other one visiting him. To show him off, this person throws the story, I don't know, true or false, okay? Throws the carpet on the water, goes and sits down on the water. Then calls him, come here, we'll meditate, sit down and meditate. This fellow has no capacity. But he has got something else. He immediately throws his prayer rug on the space and sits on that and flies, goes up 30 feet. Come here, we'll sit down and meditate. Then either of the two, doesn't matter whoever says, look, what you did in the water a fish can do. What I did here a bird can do. Truth is neither this or that, go beyond both. Practices have become so very, very obsessively, understand, so very obsessively important for people. Why? Because the one who is suggesting that, prescribing it, shall run out of the job if other people don't take the suggestions. Listen carefully. Now suppose you say, no, but Swamiji, these practices help me. Fantastic. I am not here. Neither the scripture dismisses it. It is not in the first, understand this is not first book, okay? From Tattvabodh onward, Tattvabodh, Atmabodh, Vivek Chudamani, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, everything is over. Now you are coming to the last book. So before telling sayonara, bye-bye, he tells you how don't depend on anything whatsoever. So don't take this as a sample and then say, Upanishads, this Bhagavad Gita, ASHTAVAKRA, Vedantic tradition, everything is dismissed. Then when you look at the book, Tattvabodh, Atmabodh, or some book like the ordinary, Karma Kanda, all these things, what shall you say? Where there is Karma Yoga, Bhakti, all these things, what shall you say? Oh, engage himself in so many activities. Everything has a place, but you must see for yourself. How long should you engage in physical activity to remove your mental confusion? It's like hunger. The hunger of the body cannot go away by the thought of the food. The hunger of the body is gross level. The thought of the food is at the subtle level. So the subtle picture or the thoughts of the food cannot take away the gross hunger. It requires object of similar dimension. The hunger of the body will be taken away by the gross hunger of the body will be taken away by the gross objects outside. Gross rice, bread, vegetable. The hunger of the mind for infinity, absolute, cannot be taken away by the gross material object. That is why the whole gross macrocosmic universe will not be enough. You can be the king of kings, billionaire of the billionaires, the richest and the richest man in the world. You will be pauper. In the black hole of your mind, everything shall get swallowed up without leaving behind even a trace of it. You can be richer than the richest person. One little emotion, you commit suicide. Listen carefully. However number of physical activity is not going to take you there. Remove your ignorance of yourself. So to know about myself, it is so easy. That's what he says. Tatra abhyasa parajanaha. The people who have been engaged in so many different abhyasas, practices, and they get stuck on the practices. Listen carefully. See, if the teacher is right, maybe he shall introduce you to a practice so that you can go beyond the practice. But if the teacher doesn't know, you are stuck on the practice for the rest of your life. And you become so obsessed with it, if you don't breathe one day, in a particular way. You don't sit down in a particular posture and chant a particular mantra or do a particular worship. You feel restless. Then immediately such a person will say, justify. This type of restlessness is better than getting restless about a movie or liquor or drugs or anything like that. True. It may be true, but not absolutely true. Because any obsession can destroy you. If the obsession of a drug can destroy you and your family, you get obsessed with your liquor, you are destroying yourself and your family. You are so greedy that you shall destroy yourself and your family. Everybody will be destroyed around you. Any obsession, listen carefully, any obsession, addiction will isolate you, and naturally therefore other people will be isolated. Whereas in this knowledge of yourself, you cannot be isolated, you cannot isolate anybody. Everybody is reveling in the same truth. So please see. Lucky to introduce you this object, I brought in, but if it is not there, I cannot introduce you. Lucky in self-knowledge, you carry your own truth all along. You are the truth. You have to experience this with your sense organs. Listen, if your eyes are not there, you can't see the object. Hand is not there, skin something wrong, you cannot touch the object. Nose wrong, you cannot smell the object. That type of difficulty is not there in the self-knowledge because it's not a sound to be heard, not a form to be seen, not a color to be looked at, for a taste to be tasted, for a touch to be touched, for a smell to be smelled. Lucky. That is why don't sit down and say, I am seeing blue color, red color, yellow color. It's not a color. And don't say also, oh, I saw that flower is so fragrant, but now it is gone. Yeah, that is true for the flower. But don't say, when I was in Himalayas, when I was that place, oh, this happened so nice, now it's gone. That means you didn't see the truth. You are some type of mental activity. It's some type of mental activity because the thoughts go away, so you feel very comfortable. You're being with yourself. Listen carefully. There is no question of telling, it was so beautiful. It is and eternally is. You cannot lose sight of it. And in this, I can give it to only one person. Others will be disappointed. Self-knowledge, I can't give. Everybody receives. The teacher doesn't give, but everybody gets it. What a gift, huh? No giving, but everybody has it. Wow. And for all times to come. And the best part of it is, the person who, as though receives, is no more there to receive anything more in life or to lose anything in life. After that you don't receive anything anymore, nor you lose anything anymore. There is no sense of loss, no sense of gain. That is why once you are with yourself, there is nothing called a sense of loss anymore. After infinity, what can you lose? After infinity, what can you gain? No loss is a loss. No gain is a gain. Shuddha, pure, unadulterated, nothing can taint it. No action, no perception, no thought, nothing can touch it. It purifies every action. Like a macrocosmic universe, Brahmanda. In touch with it, thus dust becomes Brahmanda. Are you getting that point, please? Isolated dust is a dust. You isolate the dust from the earth. You lift it to the space. But can you isolate it from the space and the whole microcosmic universe? How beautiful. You can take away a drop from the ocean, but can you take out the drop from the macrocosmic universe? Nothing can be isolated from consciousness. All pervasive, Shuddham, Purnam. Purnam. Purnam, complete, at all times, all places, in all conditions existing. Buddham, it is the Buddha, all awareness. Priyam, so dear to everybody. Everybody loves himself, all these things you have seen. You are the happiness. Anything that gives you happiness, you love. Since you are the happiness, you can't escape loving yourself. Any object of love is source of happiness. Since I love myself, I have to be source of happiness. Priyam, Purnam, Sukham. Nisprapancham, beyond this gross, subtle, elemental universe. Prapancham, Pancham, Pancha iti Prapancha. Space, air, fire, water, earth. Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, the sound, the touch, the form, the taste, the smell. Five. Panchakosha, food seat, vital air seat, mental seat, intellect seat, bliss seat, all fives. Nisprapancha, there is no pancha. There is nothing, only absolute. Niramayam. Nothing limits it. No dosha. There is no limitation of any kind. All pervasive. That is yourself. Not knowing, you have identified yourself with one single thought, I. And that I is engaging itself in activities to be himself. How? Instead of being, now it is lost in acting, in doing, in thinking, in meditating, in seeing, in chanting, in hearing, in tasting, any activity. Listen carefully. Therefore, don't feel frightened. So does it mean that I should not do anything? No. For your being yourself, for your satisfaction, for your fulfillment, for your... What's the love? For immortality, fulfillment, limitlessness, you don't have to do anything. For the maintaining of mortality, do something. You want some food? Go and cultivate the land. Don't mix up. That is where people become lazy. What are they doing? What are they doing? They are meditating. What is meditating? Meditating is not an activity. Meditation is yourself. Now sitting down, other people should cook and give me food, so I can be only fat, right? To keep yourself alive, you must do anything and everything. But to be immortal, forget it. To be comfortable, do something. To be happy, to be the happiness, that is why, in one side, hospitals must be opened, food grains must be produced, researches must be done to arrange this material world much more beautifully. But for satisfaction, contentment, happiness, you need not do anything whatsoever. Therefore you have an absolute freedom. I am happy with myself, contented with myself, I don't need anything. You have a right to renounce everything, go away. I am under a tree in a forest. I am not participating in your world, neither I demand anything from your world. I am happy under a tree. But if you want to live in the society and in uncomfort, now don't sit down there and wait for other people to give you the food and this and that. No, that is a waste of time. But in case you choose that way, some people choose that way, choice is yours. Hey, you don't talk about freedom and then dictate terms. So tatra abhyasapara janaha na jananti. So those who are lost in different types of abhyas, practices. Yoga abhyasa. You know how people highlight. Yoga has become a not liberating factor, but $1 billion business. Because for most people, those who do yoga, whatever they do, they know only the asana. Yoga means what? Asanas. The first 2 sutras of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, first 2 sutras are Upanishads. If you don't understand that, all right, mandabuddhi, your mind is not ready, do all that so that you can come back. But when the person goes into, there is no such planning, there is no such plan that I must do these other things, yama, niyama, pranayama, asana, all these things I shall do so that I can be myself. That plan doesn't exist. The plan is, if you do this, by itself everything will be fine. Sir, by itself nothing will be fine. Do you know why? Because you are already experiencing everything all the time yourself by itself. You don't need to control your breathing to get your knowledge by itself. For when the experience itself is by itself, do you understand that point? You can see without being conscious. It's part of every experience. You're experiencing, seeing, that is an experience. You're experiencing, hearing, that is an experience. That is what is that you should, in what way you should breathe to experience it. What is lacking is knowledge. So if you become experience oriented, yes, of course you shall be very peaceful, but still not know that this is what it is. But there are people, suppose you are a person who is a dedicated practitioner, has been very nice, and your interest is not how to twist your body in 50 different ways, but to quieten down your mind. You have been really experiencing it, no doubt. You are like a prepared atom bomb, like a gunpowder. Somebody points it out, yes, must be true. Why? I am always with myself. Therefore, don't say, the practice has produced it. No. You'll be amazed. I don't know what to tell you. In this objective knowledge, yes, if your sense organs are wrong, you can't see it. You have to correct it. The mind is somewhere, you have to correct it. In the subjective knowledge of the self, sense organs are not needed. You are already experiencing it. No thought can block the consciousness. That way, Shravan, just listen. He's not listening to music for an effect, but listening to word. Tattvamasi, you are that. Just a word, you are that. That is what it is. Finished. Having seen it, what do you want to do? Don't ask me. You choose. What Bhagavan says? Vipurishena, hey Arjuna, think it over well. Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. As you choose, you do. Why? Oh, as you choose, let him do whatever. Hey, let him do whatever. Then he is ready for the consequences. You do what you want to do. You take the result on your hand also. I am very happy with myself. Why shall I build a house? Okay, don't build a house. Who is asking you to build a house? Because your freedom is not dependent on your building a house. You can live under a tree. Yes. But that's very nice in the sunshine. When the rain comes, don't say, this knowledge is impractical. Knowledge is impractical or you are stupid. For your happiness, you don't need a roof over your shoulder or your roof over your head. For protecting the physical body from rain and summer, you need the thing. No, I want to be like an animal, I want to be in a cave. Go. Who says not? And fight with the tiger or the jackal. I am happy with myself. I don't need anything. I am going to fast, only breakfast, nothing else. Go. After 10 years, ulcer. You are a wise man, but your stomach doesn't understand wisdom. Your stomach will understand food at the right time. So you have ulcer. I am a wise person, but I am stuck on these postures I must do. Okay, you can do that postures when you are 20, 30, 40, you can do that. 50, you try to do it, some catch and a permanent catch. So Maha-yogi, yogi is now working. Lucky in wisdom there is no catch. No starvation, no indulgence either. You have to put both the sides. Don't say, Swami is very nice. He's not talking about starvation, I'm not talking about the feasting either. If I'm not talking about feasting, I'm not talking about the feasting. It is your choice. You want to feast, yeah, go eat, overeat, then be fat, cholesterol, die. 30-year-old, 40-year-old sadhu, suppose dead, what does it mean? God wanted them quickly, right? The fellow overate, blood pressure, heart attack, dead. He is wise, but body doesn't respond to the wisdom. The body shall respond to food. Therefore, you use your senses. Your common sense. Understand the beauty. But if you are action-oriented, listen, action-oriented, that doing this action or not doing this action, I shall get this knowledge, you will be disappointed for the rest of your life. By doing this or not doing this, by seeing this or not seeing this, by thinking this or not thinking this, do not make it conditional. That's why abhyasapara janaha na jananti, they shall never see. It's like 10th man telling, if only I can come around the Himalayas, I shall be 10th man. What is the question? I shall be. There is no waiting in wisdom. That is why the wisdom doesn't happen. It's not an happening. The experience of this emus, this ostrich egg happens. It begins. The experience of this Nagalingam flower begins. The experience of your standing in front of me begins. There are times when you are not there. The sound was not there, touch was not there, taste was not there, smell was not there. Also there will be a time when they will not be there. Whereas the self, who I am, always was, is and shall be. not happening. Okay? Therefore, read the next verse. We shall see next class. These are amazing things. I hope you go back and think, because you completely take away that conditioning. What is that? That to be myself, to be happy, to be immortal, absolute, whatever, I must do something. No. Also take away that conditioning. I'll pray and everything will happen. Hey, you can do that, choice is yours. But physically to achieve something, just being yourself will not mean anything. You can be wise, but you cannot discover the principles of flying in a plane or a spacecraft just by sitting down quietly. You have to think. You can be hungerless immortal, but for your food, you must engage yourself in activity. So don't mix up. In happiness, no action can help. For comfort, just being happy is not enough. Are you getting that? You want the comforts of a car. Work, produce the money, purchase. Somebody should build it. It requires tremendous physical activity. Therefore, there are steps also. In being yourself, there is no activity, no steps. Sounds sometimes frightening to the person who is used to step by step. Activities. That is why perhaps they were telling you, in your ripe old age you must know this truth. Why? Because by the time you are tired, really activity is never paid. I did everything, worked, got the money, got the children, got everything, still. Then you shall say, next line you will read. Then you will know, really is karma, any activity doesn't pay. I must go with myself. To a 20-year-old who is rearing to go like a racehorse, if you tell him just stand and enjoy, the racehorse, you tell the racehorse, stand and be blissful. Nothing like running, you know. Let him run and be tired, then come back. So, want to run? Enough. All right, be yourself. What to do? But the guys who are smart, like nowadays people, youngsters, some of them, those who are capable, by the time 40, make millions, retire, enjoy. If you are smart, by the time you are 15, 20, get this knowledge, retire. Retire means what? You have no such plans that doing something I will be happy, or by not doing something I will be happy. I am so happy with myself, and that is what everybody is. Amazing life, sir, amazing life. So beautiful. Read. Napnoti karmana moksham vimudho vyasarupinam dhanyo vijnanamatrena muktastisthati abhikriyah napnoti karmana moksham vimudho vyasarupinam dhanyo vijnanamatrena muktastisthati abhikriyah. These are all plum verses, so sweet. Abhyasarupina karmana, vimudaha moksham na apnoti. Abhyasarupina karmana. Karmana, activities, actions, which are abhyasarupi, which are practice-oriented. What is this karma which is abhyasa, practice-oriented? Yes. Producing paddy, nobody tells you, you want to understand Brahman? Cultivate paddy. Does anybody tell you that? That is not abhyasa rupa karma. You want, are you getting that? You want to be happy? You want to be happy? Yes. Go and pluck the mango from the tree. Does anybody say that? Because those are physical activities nobody cares for. Food, normal, you have to work for food. You have to prepare some food, prepare drink, build a house. Those are things. But special activities for the absolute knowledge. Abhyasarupi karma. Whether you eat your breakfast or not, whether you cultivate your land or not, whether you are a goldsmith or not, listen carefully. Whether you are a blacksmith or not, whether you are a football player or not, it doesn't matter to us. But you must do this breathing 30 times a day. Sir, is it for my blood pressure? Yes, that's fine. No, it's not for blood pressure. If you do to 30, 40 times or 200 times or 300 times or 30 years, you shall be liberated. Ayyayo, adada paitya. Somebody is doing physical activity in the field. How many farmers? Free from diseases, physically. But because of lack of food, they suffer. Should you go, have you ever seen one health clinic opening on gymnastics? And what is that? A101, all that, those studios nowadays in our cities, it comes up. For tucking the tummy and, and helping the things and V-shape and 6 abs and, thousands of rupees you pay to spend your money to make yourself fat. Then again another million you spend to make yourself thin. Beautiful lifestyle. Have you seen any such studio opening in villages? By chance somebody opens, business is down. Why? It's like a person opening a barber shop in Punjab. Punjab, where everybody is leaving the dadi and leaving the hair. If you open a barber shop, you lose the business. People are working in the field, they don't need some yoga abhyas. Jumping, running, physically fit. Yes, they can't twist their body to a scorpion. That is okay. But you can't swim either, you will drown. Now you can float on the water with your yoga. It's a physical activity. Everybody must do yoga. Everybody must do yoga. For those people who are not physically active somewhere, they can do the yoga. That's good. To keep yourself physically fit, yogasana is needed. And because of your fit body, as even person who is fit in the body, you can take him to the next step, teach him pranayama, maybe a disciplined breathing, so that he can go to the mind. You can take a farmer from the marketplace. If you can motivate him to put him towards his mind, he will also be equally successful. So, abhyasa rupina karmana, by that type of actions which you give it, what is that? The special actions for the meditation, special action like meditation. A scientist is in meditation in his laboratory. A musician is in meditation when he is listening to, when he is singing his own music. An artist, a painter, a driver, F-16 pilot, a person who is making a sweetmeat, even a cooking. Tell me who a person who is not in meditation? They don't know that they are in meditation. Instead of converting his own action to meditation, you are making meditation a special action. Then experience oriented, then it is practice orientation, that you must do like that. As a result, what happens? You divide. So, working in the field, going to the office, talking to the wife, taking care of the family, working in a, driving a car, that's not meditation. Early morning, close down everything, get angry with everybody because they are talking, that is meditation. Now what do you do? You are isolated, everybody is frustrated. Because for you, every action is not meditation. Meditation is a special action. That is the practice orientation. How is it? Abhyasa rupina karmana vimudha, not a muda, vimudha, visheshena muda, totally deluded. Muda means confused. Vimudha, fully confused. Is it his mistake? Ignorant person doesn't know what he wants, who he is. The person who has taken the responsibility of, or assume the responsibility that he must tell people as to who they are, is he there to prescribe more limitations, create more boundaries, put more lines of control, or help him to be himself, who he is? The trouble is, when the ahankara listens to this reality, when the ahankara listens to this, if the teaching is not very proper, if you listen to this, suppose the person says, you don't need any of these restrictions. If sitting down there listening to it, immediately there is a whisper comes from inside, not bad, so I can do anything what I like. You are finished. The teaching is not for the convenience of the eye. It is for its disappearance. Or if you are a sadist, masochist, who takes pleasure in suffering, when somebody says, you should fast, you should be torturing yourself, put yourself in cold water, roll on this stone ground, then only you shall know. The eye feels, very nice. This is what I want. Pleasure has not given me anything. I want that. The teaching is not to pamper, to pander to the need of this eye, providing him an exotic practice, but helping him to understand who he is. You have to be very careful. You are not there to feel comfortable or uncomfortable, convenienced or inconvenienced. My being with my thought is as beautiful as being not with the thought. My being with my body is as wonderful as when the body is not existing. It doesn't matter. Everything is there, nothing is there. Somebody recognizes, somebody doesn't recognize. Everybody throws flower at me, somebody throws stones at me. It makes no difference. That is where the language it comes. Later on it will come in this chapter itself. Like Bhagavad Gita, mitrari pakshayo tulya, samasatrocha mitrecha, tatha manapamanayo. The same attitude towards satru, mitra. Somebody is doing things to favor you, somebody doing things to harm you. Somebody is honoring, somebody is dishonoring. It makes no difference. Yesterday I told you. When you stand in your own glory, it's like the majesty of the Himalayan mountain. Throw a stone at the Himalayan mountain, it takes it on. Spitting at the Niagara Falls. That is why if you are practice oriented, somebody denounces the practice, your blood shall boil. Things too superior. Then they'll try to point out the mistake as to if you don't do practice, what will happen? We are not here, the scripture is not here to denounce the practice or to engage yourself in practice. Be yourself and then see. Whether the practice are to be obsessive or every practice is meditation. Then you shall see. But until I see myself, until I know myself, how do I know whether the practice is required or not required? You see, that is why first expose yourself to teaching. It doesn't take time. Understand that principle. To gain the knowledge of something, in an objective world, objects have to be brought, sense organs have to be there, mind must be ready. In case of subjective knowledge of the self, you are always there. Doesn't have to be brought by teacher, already there. Sense organs are not needed to see a particular sight, particular sound, particular touch. No. There is no thought specification either. This thought should be there. There is no sense organ, sense object specification that this object should be there or should not be there. Neither this thought should be there or should not be there. You are already experiencing it. You are it. Experiencing also is an experiencing an experiencer. I experience. I am experiencing, the I is seeing it. I am listen carefully. I am experiencing the touch sensation. I am experiencing that. You can't say, I am listening the silence. Shut up. I am experiencing silence. Shut up. I am experiencing the silence. You are experiencing silence, why are you talking? No. If I am experiencing silence, why not talking? Freedom. First know the redundancy of any description, then describe your heart's content. I know I cannot talk. Then go on talking. Non-stop. Or, why am I talking? What is there to talk? True. So, vimudaha abhyasarupina karmana mokshyam na apnoti. It doesn't get the freedom, moksha, liberation, by any type of this abhyasarupina, meaning by getting himself confined to or engaging himself in a specific activity. There is no freedom. You can be free to engage yourself in a specific activity as you choose. That's yours. Nobody shall tell you no. I am very happy with myself, but I want to do puja from morning 6 o'clock to next morning 6. Who am I to say, no. I am doing puja, but I can do puja only between 2 to 3. Only midnight meditation. Why, what you are doing, why are you telling us? You do. No, you must also follow. That is the mistake. I am happy with myself. I want to close my eyes and sit down. But if I say, to be happy with yourself, you must close your eyes, sit down, there's something wrong there. Is closing the eyes will not make you to be with yourself. But you can be yourself and choose to close your eyes. Open your eyes. Do something, don't do something. See, hear, taste, touch, and not to see, not to hear. Who has to tell you? Dhanya. Vijnana matrena mukta tisthati avikriya. Mukta. Vijnana matrena. Just by knowing himself, being aware of himself, avikriya tisthati. Exists without any activity whatsoever. Where? In himself. Avikriya. And no resistance to action at the level of the body and mind. In himself, total inactivity, no movement. Physically, mentally, activities are needed for you to sustain. Not only for yourself, but also for others. That is why tirelessly the person functions. As Bhagavan says in Gita, Partha nasti me kartavyam trishu logeshu kinchana nana vaptavyam vartaiva cha karmani. Hey Partha, me kartavyam nasti. For me there is nothing to be done. By doing which, gaining which, I shall be fulfilled. I am fulfilled. Trishu lokeshu, in past, present, future. There is no such thing which I must do to be myself, to be fulfilled. Then why are you acting unnecessarily? Not unnecessarily. Vartayeva cha karmani. I continuous. Nana vaptam aptavyam. There is nothing to be gained for which I must act. There is no such thing. Then why are you acting? Yadi aham navarteyam jatu karmani atandritah mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvas. Hey Arjuna, I continuously, tirelessly engage myself in activity because if I don't do that, people shall misunderstand that Krishna is a wise man. He doesn't act. So they will associate my inactivity with wisdom. They will not see my wisdom, but they shall see my inactivity. That is what people do that. Or like some persons say, oh, he played flute, therefore he is a wise man. So some people will start playing flute. How can he be a wise man when he is playing with the, swimming with the gopis or, playing with the boys, what is that boy, cows? Dancing with these, now this Purnima is coming, this full moon. In Vrindavan, people still go there, devotees, to see the Rasa Leela of Bhagavan. Dancing. How can he be a wise man and doing all these things? You first, before you pass a judgment on the wise, be wise. Very important. Be wise. Then you see. Be wise. Be yourself. Then see what are your choices? Be the wise person. And then see whether an activity diminishes the absolute. Are you acting for yourself or for others' sake? You are thinking, teaching for your sake or for others' sake? Tell me. This teaching activity is an activity. Suppose the person who is wise doesn't teach, his wisdom will disappear. Doesn't think, his wisdom will disappear. He doesn't write anything, wisdom will disappear. If Shankara would not have written, would he be a fool? He will be wise. But we will be missing out on the scriptures. See for yourself. Dhanya vijnana matrena mukta tishtati. Avikriya tishtati. There is no sense of acting or not acting, doing or not doing, thinking or not thinking. There is no such thing. Always abides in himself. Okay? So, look at yourself, close your eyes. Just be yourself and think and see for yourself. Whether your being yourself is dependent upon even listening to this class, reading a book, singing a song, sitting in a particular posture, or not singing, not earning money, living under a tree or living in a palace. Is it conditional? Or you are yourself, who you are, at all places, all times, in and through all conditions. In your presence, immortal, absolute, your body gains beauty. Your thoughts no more a source of fear. The I thought itself. You are no more dependent upon. Thought or no thought. Perception, no perception. Activities or no activities. You are who you are at all times. Then you choose your practices, whichever way you like. See that you are all times there. You are not an object to be brought out, to be brought in, like a flower, to show it to you. Your sense organs are not needed. Thoughts are not a block, an obstacle. As even nothing is an obstacle to the space. Space, all pervasive, has no obstacle. Consciousness has no obstacle. Everything suspended in it, exists in it, is the content of everything. Thought is not an obstacle. Thought also is not a facilitator. To create as who you are, already existing, ever existing. So be yourself and you choose your practices, your speeches, your experiences, your thoughts. That's all your choice. You are free to live with it as well as without it. You don't impose your wishes on anybody. Let everybody choose. First be the self. In that there is no choice. Thank you, friends. We'll see you next class.